What's up, everybody? This is just a little video. Hopefully help somebody out. This is a 66 Lincoln Continental trunk lid. I did some pretty extensive repairs on. Basically this whole outer section I made all new, and then all of the intersection structure, on the backside, all the corners and the whole thing was rotted, so had to make it. So this is just this little video just to kind of show you guys my technique for wet sanding. This is black. This car's gonna be black, so you can get away with 400, but I'm just using some 600. You can use either or. Black paint will fill the scratches. I like it to be a little bit smoother. Anyway, and then I use this block. This is one of the ones I use for my wet sand clear. I have some other harder ones that I use as well. This is like a rolling block. It's pretty worn out, but I like it because the corners are real soft on it. So, you can roll it, put it on there. Always soak your paper for 5 or 10 minutes till it curls up in the water before you use it. And this car actually has it has some body lines. It has a sharp one right here that I use, and I pop tape lines when I was doing the body work. You pop one tape line, sand to that line, then clean it, wax and grease. Then you take another piece of tape, you put it next to that one, almost right touching it. Then you peel the other one off and you block to that side, and then you wind up getting laser straight body lines, and then you can dull them out or whatever you got to do depending on the amount of body work you got. I use chamois, I use sponges, anything that will hold water to keep the paper from clogging up with material. And I'll wet sand kind of like a 45. You can go a little bit more straight. You just don't want to go 100% straight. You can sometimes for maybe a few passes, but you don't want to dig lines into your body or your primer. So I'll dip this thing in the water here. I'm just sitting there because my back's was bothering me. And it's easier to sit down and do this at this height that the trunk lid's on. And I just wet sand. But before I even wet sanded, I had primed this thing, and I used a tracer coat. I had that powder stuff from 3M. It's like 40 bucks. But when they gutted my shop, they knocked it over and wasted it. So I wound up using some flat spray paint and just did a light dust coat over the whole panel. And that'll basically, when you're done wet sanding all of that stuff off, your surface will be, all your irregularities will be removed, and it'll be totally smooth and flat. So that way, when you go lay your paint on there, you got a nice clean flat surface. You don't have orange peel or anything like that in the surface. You can dry block before you wet sand as well to save you some time. Like I dry block most of this, like halfway, and then I wet sand to finish it out. So you could dry block it with 220, 320, and then come back and wet sand it with 400 or 600. I wet sanded it. I dry sanded it with 320, and then I came back after the 320 and took a foam pad and I blocked over the whole thing real lightly. Because I had already used these big long blocks from linear tools. They're like, I think, polycarbonate. And those things really, really work well for getting these panels, functioning properly. Looking properly. And these are those blocks. This is one right here. I actually used the back of it as a round block because it's round, so it worked good for blocking out these lines and getting them flawlessly straight, or pretty close to it. They have other blocks you can use for flat surfaces. These are a little bit heavier. These are kind of old school. It's like a Blue Point is a 3M, and these are like the solid rubber ones. But you can look at them, they're like truly perfectly flat. They're just heavy, so it's like working out with them. But if that's all you got, that's what you can use. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as you get the same result. You know, there's more than one way to do these cars. Everybody has a different way. This is just the way that I do it. You know, so at the end of the day, as long as this car, when you lay the paint on it, looks good, you know, that's what the end result we're looking for here. Just a nice high quality finish. And then like this has this body line up in here, I'll sand right to that edge, but not across the edge, because that edge will get sanded regardless. But you don't want to do a sanding directly on it, because that's where you can mess up at, especially depending on your skill set. You know, you just keep wet sanding it and wet sanding it until it's nice and smooth, and get all those, make sure you don't have no pinholes or any other imperfections. I'll rinse it off a little bit with the water here. And all my body work was actually done on top of an epoxy primer after the car was media blasted, so the body work is been sealed between, you know, above the metal, so it's not directly on the metal, because it actually would cause the metal to rust just from the body filler over time. So it's always best to epoxy prime, and you do use filler over that. And I don't want to run this video on too long. I just wanted to kind of show you guys another little restoration tip and trick as I sit here wet sanding until my my arms have fallen off. But it's actually kind of therapeutic. You put some good jams on and jam out. I ain't gonna say it, but we'll put some music on. I just can't do it for these videos because of the copyright stuff, and then I gotta name the songs and all that, and that's just a pain in the butt. But you can go like 45 this way. You can do it, come back this way, so that way you're cross-cutting your wet sandpaper. You don't want to sit there and have your paper all crumpled up. It looks like your dog chewed up your homework, because if your paper's all crinkled up like that and you sand the surface, it's gonna mess the surface up and your body work. So even after this paper is done and it's worn out, it still won't really have any you know, folds in it, because these blocks are fairly rounded. Some of them will have a little, like if you look right here, you can kind of see it has like a little bit of a, but you can rotate it and get past that back to the flat part. And then it gives you some, use more of your paper too. It won't waste as much of it, you know. You can see how nice this looks. Let's see. And I still see some black specks in here, so that means I gotta keep sanding those areas. But you don't want to just sand hard in one area and dig in. You want to kind of like work the whole area. And like I said, you know, somebody else might do it a little bit different way or a totally different way. But this is how I was taught, this is how I do it, and I've had, you know, nice results out of it. So if you like this video, don't forget, hit the thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for some more videos. If you like, you know, any of these ones that I do, I'm trying to do different ones on this car as I go along, because there's not a whole lot on these cars, these Lincolns. But I'm always doing something different, so I'll just try and keep it interesting for you guys. And if there's a particular video that you like, you know, leave a comment down in the comment section, and I'll do my best to try and do a video on it if it's something in particular that you could use some help on. I don't mind. That's why I do these videos, to help you guys out. Or girls. Anybody for that matter. Stay tuned. Have a good one. Peace.